All right, let's get right into it. We're running a rapid-fire pre-flight check for anyone looking to invest in property. The whole point here? To stop you from just buying a house and start thinking like you're launching a business. Ready? Let's go. So let's kick things off with the one question that really trips up so many people. When you buy a property, is it a heartfelt, emotional decision, or is it a cold, hard business transaction? It sounds simple, but trust me, this is a classic trap, and it's where a lot of the trouble begins. And that right there is the core problem we're going to solve today. You know, the biggest, most expensive blunders happen when you fall in love with a place, when you start thinking like a homeowner. But you're not a homeowner here. You need to be thinking like the CEO of your own investment portfolio. And this little checklist, this is how you develop that CEO mindset. Okay, first up on the pre-flight check, you have got to operate like a CEO. This is all about ripping emotion out of the equation and replacing it with a cold, hard, data-driven strategy. Seriously, your feelings about the fancy kitchen backsplash, they're totally irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the bottom line. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. A homeowner walks in and says, "Oh, I just love the kitchen." An investor, a CEO, asks, "Okay, what's the rental yield?" The homeowner is thinking, "This could be my dream home," while the investor is asking, "Does this asset actually align with my portfolio goals?" It's a huge shift from personal feelings to pure financial performance. And this is the perfect way to think about it. A good CEO would never, ever hire their best friend just for the sake of it, right? No way. They look at performance metrics, at key performance indicators, at how that person is actually going to help the company grow. Your property, it's a key employee in your financial future. You have to hire it based on its numbers, not on how it makes you feel. All right, so that brings us straight to checklist item number 2. You need a business plan. It is so easy to get swept up in the excitement of it all and just jump on the first decent-looking property you see. But honestly, that is an absolute recipe for disaster. Now, your business plan doesn't need to be some 100-page document, okay? It can be as simple as these 3 steps. First, what is your actual goal? Are you looking for long-term passive income, a quick flip? Then, number 2, based on that goal, what's your strategy going to be? Let's say it's a buy and hold rental. Well, that leads you to step 3. It defines your property criteria. All of a sudden, you're not just looking at everything. You're hunting for something specific, like a 2-bedroom unit near public transport. And really, that's what this is all about. A plan gives you focus. It gives you a roadmap. I mean, think about it. No successful company would launch a major product without a plan. They wouldn't just wing it. So why on earth would you do that with what might be your largest single investment? You're just risking buying something that completely works against what you're trying to achieve financially. Okay, checklist item number 3. Conduct your market due diligence. Now, we've all heard the phrase location, location, location a million times. But the big mistake investors make is they listen to the national news headlines instead of really digging in and understanding their specific target market. So let's be super clear on what this means. Market due diligence is the process of treating every single suburb like its own little micro market. You've got to understand its unique trends, its growth drivers, what new infrastructure is coming, and its potential risks. What's happening in the property market nationally might be the complete opposite of what's happening in one specific neighborhood. And the business parallel here is just perfect. A smart company would never ever launch a new product across the entire country all at once. Of course not. They test it in a few key areas first to see if people actually want it. For you, the investor, your product testing is doing deep, focused research on a handful of suburbs that actually fit your business plan. Skipping this step, it's like launching completely blind. Okay, on to number 4, and folks, this is a big one. You have to account for every single cost. Way too many new investors get totally fixated on the sticker price of the property, but a successful business lives or dies by how well it manages its total operating expenses. That purchase price, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What can really sink your investment are all the other costs hiding below the surface. A real operational budget has to include things like ongoing maintenance and surprise repairs, property taxes, insurance, any renovation costs. And here's the big one that people always seem to forget. You have to plan for the capital gains tax you'll eventually have to pay when you sell. If you don't budget for these, they will absolutely destroy your profits. It's just like how a company's chief financial officer thinks. Their budget doesn't just list the one-time cost of buying a new computer. No, it includes all the ongoing expenses, salaries, rent, utilities. Your property's budget has to be just as thorough if you want a true picture of how it's actually performing.
And that brings us to our final pre-flight check. Scrutinize the partnership terms. See, when you take out a loan, you're not just borrowing money, you're entering a long-term business partnership with your lender. And the most common blunder here is focusing only on that shiny headline interest rate.
And this is where people get caught, right? The bank dangles this really attractive, low interest rate in front of you. But what's hidden in the fine print? Well, it can be high fees, really unfavorable terms, or even clauses that completely restrict what you can do with your investments in the future. The devil is always, always in the details. So here's the bottom line. A smart CEO reads every single clause of a partnership agreement before they even think about signing. The interest rate is important, for sure, but it is just one clause in a much bigger contract. The other terms in that agreement can have just as big an impact on your profitability. And there you have it. The pre-flight check is complete. But before we land this thing, let's do a really quick recap of these 5 mission-critical systems you need to have in place for your investment journey. Okay, let's lock these in. Number 1, operate like a CEO. Use data, not your feelings. 2, draft that business plan to guide every decision you make. 3, do your homework and conduct deep market due diligence. 4, account for all the costs, not just the sticker price. And 5, scrutinize your loan agreement like the critical business partnership it is. So you now have the framework. You've got the checklist to avoid the most common, most expensive blunders out there. The only question left is, are you ready to step up and finally be the CEO of your own property portfolio? Thanks for tuning in.